going to show you guys this book, right? So this book is called The Mutiny on the Bounty by International Collections Library. Now, this book was, as you can see, it's very old. The name of it is Mutiny on the Bounty, right? So Mutiny on the Bounty was this copyright is in 1932. This book was written almost 90 something years ago, right? And it says here, printed in the United States of America to Captain Viggo Rasmussen, schooner Taya Taparu, Raotanga, and Captain Andy Thompson, schooner Tagua, Raotanga, old friends who sailed the seas of the Bounty sail. Now, this book is very interesting. It tells a lot about the breadfruit. It tells us about the breadfruit that we have in the Caribbean. The breadfruit was brought over by the story. There was, interestingly enough, a man who was responsible for bringing plants to the islands, and his name was Sir Joseph Banks. Sir Joseph Banks was nominated to bring forth sustenance to the colonies, and he had to board the ship, this ship, Mutiny on the Bounty, the specific ship, to go to the islands in the Pacific Ocean to retrieve the plants. So the plants were not just indigenous to the Caribbean and to other parts of the world. These plants came from somewhere. And he was hired, and had a high status because in those days everything that you did for the crown was high. So to be selected, you had to be from a well-known family. You had to have yourself in a certain way, gentlemanly manner, So he did it, and he got the job, and he sailed on the the Bounty. The ship's name was Bounty. So interestingly enough, there's an old movie that has some of the story from this book. There's an old movie. So it's same name, Mutiny on the Bounty. You all can read it, look at it. So this book, they they strike back. While going, they strike back. They didn't want to go further because they were so tired and everything, and they end up, you know, overthrowing the captain and thing, and they end up getting the ships, and they started to sail. So they had the ups, they had their downs, and as you all know, a good story, they always get caught by the police. So they were caught and taken to England, where they were trialed. And the story, the star in this book was a young little boy who was working on the ship, and he told his part of the story. So the writer told that part of the story of the character where he was saved. He didn't get to get hanged. He didn't get to be hanged in the end by the famous Sir Joseph Banks, because somebody knew that he had to go with the flow. If something's happening, they had to go with it, and they become they had become like pirates in the ocean. So it's an interesting book that we had in the cupboard, and it's really really nice, and I hope you all could watch the movie, get a copy of it. But it's a nice book, and it did mention a part about Trinidad. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't read a book because I want to read a book and show you guys it. There's a part about Trinidad here. Remember in one Spada's video, I told you all it was the old route? Trinidad happens to be, and Tobago happens to be the last chain of Caribbean islands. And when we are the last chain, we were a harbor for so many types of people around the world. Talking about all types of people. We had the Caribs and the Arawaks, the Amerindian people. We had the European people. We had people from other Caribbean islands stay out here. So our island is very interesting, especially in the coves, any backlog. There's so many places that people could have come and hide out. And interesting enough, the writer had written a piece about Trinidad in this book. This is one of the books, the old English books, that you would find
Oh,
a
nice.
part of Trinidad by Nordoff Hall and Hall. Yes, so this book contains a little piece of Trinidad history that anyone could go and you could research it and find it. Interestingly enough, I have another book called Robinson Crusoe, and that book also I have it in copy. So same thing, old book like this, and I think I'm going to show you guys it, right? So Richard, pause the video.